Caleb Williams talks about the proof protection that he's had this season and how it's helped him grow as a quarterback. We're going to look into the details of that. Plus, we're going to preview today's game against the Washington Commanders going down on Monday Night Football. What are the things the Bears need to do to secure a victory? We're going to talk about all that, plus dive a little bit into the mailbag right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host, Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go to get into this content for today, y'all. We're going to start off with a quote from Caleb Williams. He said this: "It starts with the guys up front. Those guys up front have been awesome since I've been here this year. So I think being able to get in rhythm and with those guys, not having many guys down in a sense, being able to get multiple reps, I think I've said it multiple times from last year to now, it's being able to figure out where their weaknesses are because every player has some weaknesses or anything like that. So being able to figure out where their weaknesses are and play off that in the pocket and being able to feel and know where I need to set up or roll out or get out the pocket at certain times. So it's being able to have those guys back when when things don't go right. But these guys are beast up front, so it's been fun being with them and working with them and having these past 4 games with them. Now, we do know that there is a change now being made on the offensive line. Theo Benedict is now the starting left tackle for the Chicago Bears. This is after an offseason of us spending a lot of time figuring out who was going to be the starting left tackle for the Bears, and it ended up landing at the start of the season back on Braxton Jones, who had been the starter for the prior 3 seasons. The Bears now have made a realization that Braxton Jones needed to be benched. And, Braxton was close to being benched, going into the Cowboys game. The Bears decided to roll with him for one more game. He had his probably best game of his career against the Cowboys. But then it went back to normal against the Raiders, which forced him to get benched in that game. And then what happened, right? So now we're rolling with Theo Benedict. Apparently it looks like, Ozzie Trapillo may start at right tackle as well due to injuries, things like that. But overall, the Bears have now made another change. And for what it's worth, the Bears made a big, investment in the offensive line. And for that, it's been a mixed bag. The pass protection has been much better, considerably better. It's no doubt about how much better the pass protection has been for the Chicago Bears because that's there, right? And, as much as Darnell Wright, has looked like he's regressed, I still don't want to give up on him quite yet, right? But when you look at the Bears' offensive line and the better production, so far, Caleb Williams has been sacked 7 times on the year. That's an average of 1.75 times per game. That is a huge improvement. Last year, on average, Caleb Williams was being sacked 4 times per game. That's the rate that he was sacked at. So it's definitely things have changed in the pass protection. We are protecting Caleb Williams much better than we have in the past. On the ground, it hasn't necessarily been the best there, right? Like Swift is averaging 3.3 yards per carry. That's actually down from 3.8 yards per carry last season. And some question there. This year, Swift hasn't necessarily had the biggest gaps to run through either. Swift has averaged 2.2 yards after contact this year, which actually shows pretty good, right, when it comes down to it. But defenders are making first contact with him just 1.1 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. So that's tough, right? But put that in context. Running backs with the 10 best yard per carry average this season, with a minimum of 25 carries, they're being hit an average of 1.7 yards past the line of scrimmage. So that's almost a half yard that you are giving up comparative to the best running attacks in football. Now, we know that the Bears aren't going to be the best running attack. We don't have the personnel. I'm not going to expect us to go from one of the worst areas to one of the best. I just want to see steady improvement there. And, it's been a lot of talk recently between what is it more on Ben Johnson? Is it more on the running backs? I landed somewhere in the middle. I don't think it's just Ben Johnson's play calling. And you can't abstain that the running backs have just not been productive, period. They haven't been productive. And so that's running on the outside. That's running on the inside. That's anything. We have not found a level of production. We got to improve in those areas. But, Caleb Williams, he's getting protected better. That was something that we definitely wanted out of our investment this year, is better protection for QB1. We've gotten there to a huge extent. to where we're allowing almost 3 less sacks per game than what we did last year. So those are a step in the right direction. The Bears need to hope now with the added of Theo Benedict, hopefully playing Ozzie Trapillo a little bit more as well, that we start seeing better run production as well from this team. We get in the area of getting that, I think things are going to look pretty damn good for the Chicago Bears team. So those are things that are going in the right direction. And overall, when you look at coming into this game, we got some things that we definitely need to work on and that we need to go through, and we're going to talk about that. Like, what are some of the biggest matchups coming into this game against the Washington Commanders? I think the one that you got to look up first that we have to look at is the defensive front. We have to have some solid production on the front of the defensive line. This is the best running attack in the game of football. The Chicago Bears are the second worst running defense in the game of football. We got to have consistent pressure. We got to find a way from the front four, the front seven, whatever it is. We got to find a way to be consistent in that, man. This is going to be a difficult one. Even though the Washington Commanders, Austin Eckler is out with a torn Achilles, that sucks. You look at their 7th round pick, Merritt as well. He's been playing pretty damn well for them, right? And so they got to get it together. You got to get it together when it comes to that. This has to be a game in which it can't just be the bend but don't break, but you got to get the key stops in the right areas. The Bears' run defense has been the weakest spot of the defense so far. TJ Edwards' return is going to help with that. And, that's going to help with that. Kyler Gordon is going to help with that. But it can't just be those guys coming in. Those are shots in the arms, great. But we need better performance out of Grady Jarrett. We need better performance out of Javon Dexter. That's been one of the biggest weaknesses of his game. We need better production out of that. And I'd go so far as to say this. I want to see some 3 linebacker sets with Noah Essingate, wrong team, with Noah Sewell out there with TJ Edwards as well, because Noah has been pretty solid in run defense. That's going to be an important part of all of this. And you got to look at that. You have to look at that. And then outside of that, I look at this not just to will it down just to Tyrique Stevenson, but Tyrique is the CB1 now. Tyrique versus Jaden Daniels. You cannot allow to go back to what you did in week 2, where you allowed yourself to get picked on like a rookie. You allowed a perfect QB rating. Best believe, Tyrique Stevenson has a great 2 games in a row. He had some 2 questionable games as well, right? But you can't allow now Jaden Daniels or the offensive coordinator to say, hey, let's pick on Tyrique Stevenson early. Let's see which Tyrique we get in here, right? It would be different if we had Jalen Johnson out there, but Tyrique Stevenson is stepping into the CB1 role, and the last 2 games have given a lot of promise for Tyrique. But watch out for this one. The corners versus Jaden Daniels are going to be really important in this one because they're going to try to. Cliff Kingsbury is going to try to find which corner he can pick on in this game. We have to have solid performance in our secondary, because if you allow Jaden Daniels to get in that rhythm, get in that in that mode, it's going to be difficult to slow it down. So you got to be prepared for that. And if you're not prepared for that, that's when the game could get completely blown up against you. So the Bears got to be locked in and ready to go on that one. And then on the flip side of that, Rome Odunze against the Washington Commanders cornerbacks. Is he going to be ready for that, right? Now, the Washington Commanders, for what it's worth, don't have a great high-rated pass defense. They just don't, right? Marshawn Lattimore, Sandstrom, I believe is how you pronounce it. They're good. They're really good, right? And they're solid enough. But Rome Odunze has to make it known. I don't care what it is on the depth chart. I don't care that people want to still, Rome Odunze is the wide receiver 1. By targets, by performance, right now he's the wide receiver 1. And guess what? Washington Commanders are going to be preparing for him like he's the wide receiver 1. They're going to be trying to slow him down. And if they do have success getting in his head, slowing him down, then we need DJ. We need Luther Burden. We need these guys to absolutely step up. We need these guys to step up. But Rome is our leading wide receiver. And so with the 20 receptions, 296 yards he's had so far, and 5 touchdowns, which is second most in the NFL, we need Rome Odunze to keep up the hot streak today. He's Caleb Williams' favorite weapon, and if he can do that, it's going to help the Bears' offense get out to that rhythm, because right now we don't have very much trust in what we do in the run game. So that means we got to have the pass game be sound. We got to have it execute. We got to stop the pre-snap penalties as well. That's another key thing for the Bears in this game. Can you stop the pre-snap penalties? So that's what we got to do. And protect Caleb Williams. You got to protect Caleb in this game. Caleb right now has gone for one of the most sacked players in the league, doing a much better job, what it comes to. We'll see that. Overall, the Bears right now are one of just 12 teams in the NFL to allow less than 2 sacks per game. That's it. We're one of the few teams to do that. The pass protection has been legit. The growth there has felt real. But let's be clear here. Armstrong is not going to come in and make it easy for the Bears. He leads that team with 5 sacks, tied for third highest in the NFL. They're going to be trying to get pressure on Caleb Williams. They're going to try to get that pressure early. The Bears got to prepare for that. Darnell Wright is returning to the starting lineup. So, Ozzie Trapillo's not going to be out there. He is returning from that elbow injury. So we're going to need him to be solid. And if he's not, you're going to have to sit your ass down and let Ozzie come in, because Ozzie did a tremendous job against Max Crosby, who was killing us. So that's going to have to be a thing. We're going to have to get into that rhythm early, and protecting Caleb Williams is a huge way that we can stay in that rhythm, and the Bears are going to have to do that, man. And so we'll see. And like I said earlier, like getting TJ Edwards, getting Kyler Gordon, getting those guys back and what they allow and how they help the run defense, that's also what we're looking at for sure as well. Getting those guys back on the field, they have an opportunity to make their presence felt early into this game and make an impact right away. Now, for what it's worth, TJ Edwards in the one game that he did come back in at didn't look quite like him, and I'm not expecting these guys to come in and look like midseason form version of themselves, but I am expecting them to come in and help. That's what it has to be. It has to be about helping this team. And so we'll see. We'll see. There are some reasons for optimism for this Bears team. And I know that there are a lot of Bears fans that err more towards the side of pessimism, because we're Bears fans. We've been through some shit. We've seen some teams that had some promise that end up looking like crap, right? And there's some reasons for concern. The offensive line with the run blocking, the defensive line has not brought very much production for us at all, right? And that's one of the areas that I'm hoping that with better linebacker play, getting more creative now with Kyler Gordon, thankfully getting him back, does that open up Dennis Allen to get a little bit more creative? The Dennis Allen that I kind of expected, and I told you guys for a long time, hey, listen, watch out. Dennis Allen is coming. Dennis Allen is the creator, and not to say that it's been bad. Dennis Allen has had moments absolutely where you see his imprint all over this defense, but we need that a little bit more in this game. We're going to need that a little bit more than what we've had it before. We're going to have that. And so we'll see, right? The defensive line, we don't blitz a lot because we try to bring that pressure from the front seven. But, with that, we play more man coverage than what we did. We have a more generally aggressive mindset. We've seen blitzes all over the place with this team. It's not like the huge blitz, right? We don't blitz a whole hell of a lot, but it's a lot more than what we did under Matt Eberflus. We just got to get this, man. I do think we need to use Shamar Turner a little bit more as well. I think he's going to be a guy that definitely helps this team, get that. I think Shamar Turner's run grade has looked pretty good so far. So it's been a small sample size for the Bears, but if you can get that run, that defensive line to start performing a little bit better, we just need to slow down, especially up the gut. The thing that's frustrated me so much about this defense is just the easy runs that we give up the gut. That's something that's been so concerning for this team, because if you can't stop it right up the gut where the biggest part of your pressure should be at, usually that doesn't fix itself, right? But we're coming into a game that the Bears are going to understand the moment of this. I don't want the Bears to be worried about how the game went last year. I don't care. We got so many new pieces. This is a new team, new coach. I don't care about that. Come in and attack every single game like it matters the most. The game that you're playing then is the most important game. That is your Super Bowl for that day. And that's what I want to see. And the Commanders are coming in here banged up. This is a banged up Commanders team. Very banged up. So, they're led by a rookie running back in Merritt, right? And that's good. We know that Jaden Daniels is also banged up. He dealt with his own MCL thing. This is a team that's missing players. They got Deebo Samuel, of course, which, Deebo's a veteran. You can't overlook Deebo Samuel at all. But this is a team that they have their own injuries. The Bears have, for the most part, gotten over most of their injury concerns, which is really good. Things are going in the right direction for that. But, they're missing one of their top wide receivers. They're banged up with even some of their players that are going to actually play into this game and get snaps in this game. This is where the Bears need to make a moment. And this is it. Like, the Commanders are a good team. They're a good football team, but they're not an unbeatable football team. They're 3-2 on the season. And our job for the Chicago Bears is to put them at 500 by the end of the season. That's what it is. And can we do it? We'll see. We'll see. There's a huge chance and possibility of that happening for this team, but we got to execute. We got to lock in. We got to do the things that are winning football things. And the Bears we've seen spots of that. We've seen those things that are happening. And I'm looking for big performances from a few Chicago Bears today. Like I said, Tyrique Stevenson, I hope that he continue to have the streak that he's had for the last few weeks for the Chicago Bears. If he can now make that 3 games in a row, I'm going to start believing that that's more of who he's going to be this season. I'm cautious a little bit when it comes down to it, right? But I think on top of course, I just said I don't want them to worry about it, but Bears fans are going to worry about it. Go out and redeem yourself. Have yourself a big game. Caleb Williams has looked so much better under center this year. The growth of Caleb Williams under center this year has been huge because this is a guy that has not played very much under center his whole football career, but he's looking like a quarterback that can do that. And you're coming up with a guy that was drafted after you that, right or wrong, you're always going to be connected to in your performance based off what Jaden Daniels accomplishes versus what Caleb accomplishes. So you got to tie into that one. And then I think this, DeAndre, Kyle Manon guy, one of these two games, they have to have a big game this game. I don't know if it's going to be Swift. I don't care if it's Kyle Manon guy. Hell, I don't give a shit if it's Roschon Johnson that has the big game today. One of these guys has to have a big game on the ground. I would love to see somebody average 4 to 4.5 yards per carry today. And that comes down to your offensive line as well, right? And I think Theo Benedict's going to help with that because he's a really good run blocker. And we'll see what the Bears can do. And some of it's on Ben Johnson too. And Ben Johnson has not removed himself from the responsibility of that. This is still your team. You got to come in. You got to prepare this team. You got to be better than that. You got to be ready to go. And if you can do that, things are going to work. Things are going to look much better for you. But you got to lock in, my boy. You got to get ready for this. So hopefully this is a game tonight where the Bears, win or lose, that we're not sitting at this team looking like y'all shit the bed yet again. Go out there, fight. Go out there and compete. Whatever happens, happens. If you can walk away with a win, great. Go out there and get that win. If not, we shall see. But with that said, you guys know Monday is for overflow, but because it is game day, I'm not going to go into too many of them. We do got a voicemail. This one's from Xavier.
What's going on, guys? This is Xavier calling in, man. I just want to speak on this second half of the schedule. I mean, we had an early bye week, but man, I'm looking at this second part of the schedule, man, and we got Washington. We need to win this game. We need to start off the after bye week. We need to start off strong. So if we get this one, bro, we got the Saints, which is cool. I'm not trying to look ahead too far, but I'm just saying, like, the Saints aren't such a good team. Baltimore got injuries and a whole bunch of shit going on. Cincinnati got injuries, but they just got Flacco, the Giants. So we have all of them coming up. And I'm saying that to say we have to win and with Washington to start off this right. Because granted, we can look at the Saints as, a sleep, pushover or whatever, but bro, they're still an NFL team with NFL talent. And after that, like I said, we got these other games coming up, and it's going to be tough. And if we build these wins, bro, this is a pivotal stretch for us because we need to build wins in this spot because all of these teams that we thought were going to be good aren't, bro. Which is the Baltimores, which is the Bengals. They look shaky. So if we can start off with Washington and then build motivation with the Saints and then hit that little stretch, bro, we might be all right, bro. We might be talking playoffs. So, man, let me know how y'all feel about that, man. Chicago up better out.
First of all, listen, needed to win over Washington? Absolutely, I want to beat the Washington Commanders. I want to beat every team that's in front of us. And the Bears need to keep up the momentum. If you can come out of this bye week getting another win, your third in a row, that you're steady building momentum, and that's what it is. You see teams getting that momentum, getting that rhythm as a team, and that's what helps propel them over the second half of the year. The Bears need that. Keep in mind, the Bears started off 0-2 in their own division against two divisional opponents to start off the season. In the NFC North, as deep as this division is, that's a huge mountain to overcome to get out to an 0-2 start in your division. It makes every game even more important, and especially your divisional games. Now, this isn't a divisional game at all against the Washington Commanders, but you need this. Every game is huge for this team. Every single one, period. There's not a game on this. I don't care who they're facing off at. I don't care what injuries are there. I don't care what is. I don't care if the Bears were facing off against a Canadian Football League team. Whoever's in front of you, you got to go out there and try to kill. That's what you have to do. But don't go out there trying to kill it like make a statement win. Go out there and through execution, through performance, through connectivity as a team, through rhythm, through all those type of things, limiting turnovers, limiting penalties. Those are all that's going to be important for this team coming into this game, and they got to lock in and get that done. Is it possible? Yeah, absolutely. Game day, like the Bears, this is a solid football team. We have some pretty glaring concerns and some glaring misses. I'm not saying we're the best football, but this is a solid football team. We're coached well. We got good players. all up and down this roster. Some that we need to find a way to utilize a little bit better in some scenarios. Absolutely, make no mistake about that. But this is a good football team. And so we'll see how things are going to grow this season for this Bears team. I hope that this team, just simply put, just to be fair, gets it fucking done, man. That's just what I just want to see, a team that performs at the level that we know that they're capable of. And this season is about progression. Wherever we get in that progression, if we get to the play-in, if we get to the wild card, if we can get to the play, whatever we get through that progression is great. But the progression has to be the thing that is the most important. We have to progress every single game, every single down, all of that. We got to progress as a team. And we're seeing progressions in certain areas. Some of the areas have been stagnant so far. Let's see what they did in the bye week to start fixing some of that. And hopefully we're going to come out of that bye week much better, making that progression that we hope to see. And then we can talk about this team in a much different light. But that's my time for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys are following us at Shy Bears Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, chicagobearscentral@gmail.com. And lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related, but that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, but Bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.